Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. You're laughing about what's a Monday?
No reason.
Huh?
There was no reason.
No. She said to me, it's Monday today. Very authoritatively. So I said, is it? What's a Monday? We built this house with all these notions. Time, space. Is it audible or am I speaking too softly or how is it? It's okay? It's okay. Let's put on the AC for a bit. So suppose that 10 years ago, you started building a house. You wanted it to be the best house possible. So you decided that I'm going to make the best house possible. Then you spend 1 year on the plan, roadmap, the best architect. Then every part of the house, the floors you picked, Italian marble. That's the best, among the best. Italian marble. For the kitchen platform, some Belgian granite or something. Everything top notch, and you've been building slowly with great care. And whatever you built, you didn't like, you demolished it. You rebuilt it to get it right, get it just right. Now 10 years have gone. Only the roof is left. Let's say the roof is left. Then you ask around and say, who's the best one who can make this roof? And somebody says, this one is the best one. So you go to this one, looks at your house. So he says, okay, he doesn't seem too impressed. That itself is upsetting, firstly. Doesn't seem too impressed with the house that you built. And next he looks up and says, come, I'll show you something. So he takes your hand and takes you out and walks with you till you get to the middle of nowhere. You get to the middle of nowhere. And this one says, this is your house. Here is your house. How will you feel? Spend 10 years building a house. And this one, who seems quite crazy by now, you're pretty clear he's crazy. He takes you to the middle of nowhere and says, this is your house. What will be your reaction? And many of you can correlate your initial satsang reactions to this. So what does this mean really? Slowly and slowly, we have built up a belief system that we call the person. And all the learnings from parents and teachers and books and other people that we've met, all the self-help that we could go to. We've taken these ideas and built this identity. And then we said, what is the cherry on this cake? How do I top off this identity? How can I give it a halo? Is it? And somebody said, go to this one. And this one, that is the master, doesn't give you a halo, doesn't give you a roof. He says, even all this that you built up, if you want to come with me, you have to leave. And we have to be honest and say, mostly, this doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, at least initially. Because you will say, tell me what is wrong. I will fix it. If this wall is wrong, I demolish and make a new one. I've done it many times before. I was in this movement, I was in this class, I was in this satsang, and I realized that something is not right, and I changed it. I exchanged it for something else. So the disciple says to the master, tell me where you're going to take me, or tell me what I can do instead of this. I've done this before. I've taken a set of beliefs. I realized that they were wrong. I dropped them. I believed a new set. If that is what you're saying, tell me I'm wrong and tell me how I'm wrong, and I'll replace it with your philosophy. Oh, God is like this. I feel you tell me God is not like that, and I will take your version of God and I'll put it there. You see? I will demolish what I believe, and I'll take your version and I'll put it there. But the master is saying, let's just go from here. You're saying, but is this a better place? Where you're taking me, is it going to be better? Tell me how it is going to be better. I've given my life to this, building this house. Is it? So this is why the spiritual search can seem to have this, like many times in satsang we share this term burning. You see, a lot of burning is happening. A lot of things are burning. I'm burning on the inside. What is actually burning? What is burning is our concepts, even our spiritual concepts. And many times when this burning is happening, it does not feel good. Why doesn't it feel good? I was hearing somebody yesterday very beautifully. They were explaining the mechanics of belief. And they said, every belief that we have right now, till we hold it, feels good, feels right. It's only when it is given up that you realize, oh, that was not true. Till you have it, it feels like it is the right thing. You see, that's why it's your belief. So you might go through that journey of starting to feel like there's something wrong with this, and then testing it some more, inquiring into the nature of it, and dropping it. But while you hold it, it doesn't feel to you that it is limiting you. How many are with me on this? Very important point. While you're holding a belief, it does not feel to you that it is limiting you. it feels to you that it is necessary, it is helpful. And when you meet someone who in your heart you feel is to be trusted, but they are taking you to a place where there is no such belief system, it can feel like some burning is happening. Because you feel like this, what I'm burning, is what I have invested in for so long. I've invested in this belief system for so long, for so long. And the bigger problem in a way is that at least tell me what to put in its place. You're telling me demolish the house, but are you going to give me a trailer at least to stay in? This is the burden. The master says, all of this is within you. You don't need a house in this world. This is a metaphor, okay? So I'm not asking anyone to give up their physical houses. I'm just saying, you don't need this identity. You don't need this house of cards in a sense. Try living open. And this can feel strange, it can feel scary. The master says, don't worry, I know it wobbles, but I'm with you. And I've been through this wobble, and I will take you through it. Now, what can happen is that in the design of the mind is not designed to just give up without a fight. When a belief starts getting questioned, it also gets everything to try and reinforce it. Everything to reinforce. And that works with all our beliefs. But it especially works with our doubts. It especially works with our doubts and our negative belief system. So if you feel, for example, suddenly a thought comes to you today that, oh, Ananta is like this. Yes. Notice how quickly the mind will use that opportunity to say, yeah, this, and also like last Thursday, when he did that to this one, and when this one said this, then he said that. This the nature of the mind to quickly produce enough evidence, seemingly, but just concepts, so that the belief can get deep rooted very quickly. Is it? So it's almost like a spider. Have you seen a spider when like a mosquito goes in the spider web? What happens? Quickly goes to the mosquito and the mind is a bit like that. It plays a bit like that. Where you feel like something got caught, and then it doesn't want to leave it. It wants to spin all the stories around it, and soon, and this soon can be really soon. Like in 10 minutes, you could be convinced. Is it? In any case, what did we say? We said that every belief feels right anyway. Is it? So within a short period of time, you could be caught up in this huge web of beliefs, and you can feel like, yes, this is it. Now, with most of traditional spiritual paths, what can happen is that they will provide you an auxiliary replacement belief system for which is supposed to last for a bit. Is supposed to last for a bit. Okay, it feels too naked, too open to leave your house without any and come to this middle of nowhere. It's literally like the middle of nowhere, without any walls anywhere. So let me construct a temporary kutiram for you, a hut. Right? Let me give you a hug. This is how it looks. Wake up at 5 every morning, do this kriya, do this thing, be a good disciple, uh, have your own personal mantra, then chant it like this. Although I might be saying it in a bit of trivialization, I'm not trying to put any of that down. I'm just saying that if you look at some of this, at least it feels a little more comforting that I left my old way of thinking and replaced with a new one. I left my old lifestyle and replaced with a new one. And that can seem to provide some sense of comfort. But when you come to satsang like this, which is more direct, where I don't really want to give you a replacement belief system. I want you to be able to step back from this entire paradigm of belief itself. Mhm. Step back from this entire paradigm of believing and not believing. Come to a greater openness. You're not replacing old walls for new ones. You're replacing it with complete nakedness, complete lack of conceptual support structure. And it is the master's job to hold your hand through this all. Because initially to you it will seem like, in a way, he's setting your house on fire. It might seem like he's setting your house on fire. So it is up to the master at what speed the house has to be set on fire, whether to put down the fire a little bit and make it a little more comfortable or to increase the intensity of this fire. And master is relying on their intuitive insight, allows this way of Sadhguru's grace to function. But it has to come to this. To get out of this limited paradigm of belief in something or belief in the opposite of that something. Get out of this paradigm of duality, of that and its opposite, of truth and lies, of good and bad, of past and future, of me and other, of time and space. This is what I mean when I say motionless existence. And actually, it is completely verifiable in this moment. To exist What concept are you using? To be, what concept do you mean? What concept is holding up your existence? You will find that no concept is holding up my existence. My existence has been holding up some concept. It's me, my being, my consciousness, I am, which has been giving power to concepts such as I am something, I am this, or I am that. And around every concept, I have built a limitation, a boundary, a house around my existence. But this house is never real. It is only emotional, only conceptual. So the sage Ashtavakra said, the mind is complex, let it go. Such a simple statement. Guruji said, don't identify. And what do we identify with? Again, the label of something creates a sense of identity. Like nobody really knows what a man is, what a woman is. And yet we have used these labels and identified ourselves with that. This is how belief works and creates a sense of identity around that which is completely beyond all limitations. It plays as if this one is man but not woman. Now the thing with labels is that not only does it try to define what you are, it also tries to define what you are not. The minute you say I am a man, it automatically defines that you are not a dog, you're not a cat, you're not a cow, you're not a woman. And I know some of this might sound strange to you, but when you pick up one label, one leaf from this tree of conditioning, as I call it, you feel like the entire tree is valid. Because what all do you know, have to know? If you're a man, what all does that mean? Let's just take simple example. You have a beard. What does a beard mean? Hair on the face. What does hair mean? What does face mean? This is one aspect of defining a man. So one notion we picked up man, it seemed harmless enough. But actually we picked up the entire lot, everything, all these meanings. This is how we pick up condition. Because we pick up one label, one idea, one concept about ourselves, and it seems like we pick up the entire structure of personality. That's why I was saying the other day that don't try to play this game and live dangerously where you can say, I can play with the me for some time. And the minute it starts to get too hot in this kitchen, I will just go to God now. Being, my being is saying, I know this. How will I ever forget? But actually, every notion that you pick up, you're picking up this entire conceptual structure. It seems to define you. It seems to limit you, tell you what you are and what you are not. In reality, there cannot be something that you are or are not. Because not only are you the light of all there is, you are also the screen of all there is. Simply put, all there is just made up of you. But you are beyond that. It is not beyond you, but you are beyond even that. So the minute we define ourselves in these ways, I am this, and therefore implying I am not that, we wear this mask, this presumed mask of separation, individuality. Now the thing is that when I say remain in your emotionless presence or stay as your emotionless existence, around this also we can create like 100 notions. And the thing with any pointing like this, with any pointing like this is that it's always self-referential anyway. Because many of your minds might be saying right now, but this is also a notion. Motionless existence also a notion. So any of this pointing is completely self-referential. And yet in the play of this life, I love, that's why some of Bhagwan's examples are so beautiful. Because he's given us such beautiful ways to relate to this. He says, treat the inquiry or treat some pointing like this as the stick that you use to light the funeral pyre. The funeral pyre is also sticks. This is also a stick. And yet you use a stick to light it. And then what happens with this stick? Even this is thrown. Now sometimes in our over enthusiasm, we throw this one first. Then, okay, now I've got rid of the concept of notionless existence. And quickly it is forgotten. And all the other notions start to come back in quickly. We are quick to forget the inquiry, who am I? Now I don't need to discover. I had an insight about myself. Now I don't need any tool. So we throw that out first. But one had this other beautiful metaphor also where he said, if you have thorns embedded in your finger, then you use a thorn to remove them. And then this thorn can also be thrown. But what would happen if you threw this thorn first? Then the seemingly deep-rooted embedded conditioning, when it appears in the form of a thought, then it can seem like I said before, a belief feels right to us initially. It feels, in fact, righteous that I must believe this. This is the position I must take. Because it would not be right. All satsang and all is fine. This is fine. But this I have to take. For my relationship, for my country, for my gender, for my something. Yes. How many of us have moments like this? We do, isn't it? That I'll come back to my notionalized existence just after I deal with this particular thing. Because this particular thing, I need to be somebody. This is the thing. So this is what I mean when I say don't presume that you can just play with this me, and then on call make God available. Just before the hour, the suffering is about to come, I will have dial a pizza type God. It is true, actually. And yet, the web of this spider can seem to entangle us so quickly that you might not even remember about your presence. Because the speed of these thoughts coming. This also does not mean, because I know the nature of the mind, we'll take it to the extreme. We'll say, see, now you did that yesterday, you picked up the me. Now Ananta had said, don't pick up the me. You see? Now, what is all of this? Is also motion. So it's like it can initially feel like a bit of a fine line, like a razor's edge almost. Neither this nor that. Not this nor that. Then you'll discover that it is the most open field, emotionlessness. The same motionlessness, which for many of you might feel like it is a razor's edge at the moment, where you have to tread carefully, will become like an open field. You see, nothing can come and make a difference, make a dent on this. Cool? So, this is the thing. So let's take an example. So somebody wrote, human is an anatomy in being. So within this itself, so much each word can have. This was not the intent of the one who wrote it. I'm not poking fun at that. I'm just saying that if you look at any part of language, firstly, human itself has so many notions attached to it. Then anatomy in being. You can also say this entire universe is the anatomy of the being. So the thing with notions is like this. It's a house of cards. Maybe there are some fundamental cards, fundamental notions seemingly time, space, gravity. If I walk out of my bed, I'm going to go to the floor, not to the ceiling. These are the primary notions, isn't it? Like it seems like you can rely on some of these, like these are the fundamental. Yeah. Although it is not true actually, but like I found great beauty in what Guruji said once. He said, I woke up this morning and I saw that Muji is there. In the sense that the body which had some uh, memory attached to it, had a name, had a history. You wake up, and for that one moment before the appearance, the manifest appearance of this world, you don't know actually which body is here. You don't know whether this is what we are now calling the waking state or whether it is another dream. You don't know any of these things. Coming back. So there are these like these fundamental seeming notions, which also we've experienced the opposites of all of these. Right? But and then on top of these, then we have notions like body, mind, uh, birth, death, these kind of things. Then on top of that, we have all these notions of personality, relationship, money, body, freedom. So how many actually want to step out of this paradigm? That is firstly the most important question, in the sense of, are we in satsang so that we can build a better house for ourselves? Is it? Or are we in satsang even with the sense that if the master has to blow away this house of cards, it is completely fine? Is it? And this is a critical question, and I'm not really asking it like, yes, come on, say yes, not like that. But really, with a sincere questioning, shine your own light on this question. Is it? What is it that I would like to see actually? If one day this actually happened when I was called for the inauguration of a house which would build after 10 years. So, come, let's go from here. And I take you in the middle of a forest. I want to live here. This is better. Then I'm going to do that. But you know what I mean. Because our attachment to the material is just a tiny aspect of our attachments. Our attachment to our material objective surroundings is a very tiny aspect of our attachment. Now, this is what I mean by the razor's edge. This switch in the inner attitude, going from attachment to neutrality, not from attachment to renunciation. Can you hear these words? Are they making any sense? Because this part is where the mind starts to create trouble because it doesn't get that. I'm saying we're moving from attachment to neutrality, not attachment to renunciation. Because what is renunciation but another attachment? An attachment to not having anything is renunciation in a way. Mhm. So, can we step back from this entire paradigm and not consider ourselves just to be an object which is defined by the movements of this flesh and blood? Because I am this body is just another notion, just another idea. Step back from this paradigm of all belief in something and its opposite. It's important to reiterate that. So, if you feel like you're at a crossroad, there is a left, there is a right. You say, Ananta, which way is the self? So I say it is not left. Then automatically you presume it is right. Then you say, so it's right then. I say it is not right. So then, is it left then? And as this conversation continues, your irritation levels might increase. So then, is it left then? No. Then it must be the right. No. But left. You see, this is the thing with the mind. Neutrality. What is? Isness, as Guruji would say. This isness is not fathomable to it. So the invitation is actually just to step back from this. No left, no right, no up, no down, no right, no wrong, no truth, no freedom, no lies, no misbeliefs. None of this applies to the reality of you. No path, no instinct. Like this also. If I say that there is no path, you will say I must get it this instant. If I say there is nothing to get in this instant, oh, then I must be having to walk on this path longer. Please have to snap out of this. How to the question. Hello, Father. For some time, this question has been arising. If awareness is not negative nor positive, why we experience happiness and joy when contemplating on ourselves, and why we don't feel sadness or negative. So that which is empty of quality, if we have to make a comparison, we can compare it with deep sleep state. Perfect timing. So listen, I said that somebody went to sleep. So, so this awareness is very much like deep sleep state, neither negative nor positive. You say, how happy were you in your deep sleep state? Fine. Were you unhappy in your sleep state? No, I was just sleeping. So these qualities also don't apply there. The qualities which are a part of our physical, phenomenal existence don't apply there. So that's why, actually, I'm happy to see that you say we don't feel sadness or negative. Because many feel like it's so frustrating to inquire on the self. I feel a lot of irritation, anxiety coming. But either joy or sadness will be part of this phenomenal construct, which awareness is beyond, is prior to. And that substratum does not change. That substratum of your truth, this Brahman, this absolute, does not change. So this is like the ocean. It's all metaphor, okay? There's no real ocean, right? But this is like the ocean, on top of which then these waves arise, the waking state, dream state, and all the objects in all of this. Okay? The ocean remains the ocean. But on top of this, then moments of sadness, moments of joy, then identification as one of the waves, identification with the state itself, then other waves, like which we call relationship, then we try to collect a full bank of waves to be secure as a wave. You see, all of this is part of this is appearance. Okay? And all of this is going to go tonight. Okay? All of this is going to go tonight. And you cannot truly predict that this realm, this body mind, this system will ever truly repeat itself in this way ever again or not. We can't predict. We might say, but I have a memory of yesterday. But you have memories even in dream. It might be the first time you experience a dream, but you have the full life story of that dream character. So we can have some fun with this at times. Maybe it's a rotational system. Like we're all sitting in Sangha today. I feel so clear. I am Ananta. This is Matthew. This is Radha. This is Gabriel. This is Nibu. This is Drishti. So it might feel so clear that I am this one. But suppose tomorrow when we wake up, I am Matthew. He is Radha. She is Gabriel. It's completely possible. That you might have the experience of the centrality of another character, which you feel like is an auxiliary character today in your story. So all of this is your play. You're playing with all of these roles and characters, all of these appearances. Now, allow these to be your deeper insights. All you have to do is remain empty of this belief system, empty of all these notions. And in a way, I can say that all you have to not do is pick up a notion. Because when I say that all you have to do is remain motionless, then it feels like there's a doing to it. But the effort is in remaining motionless. Actually, the effort is in picking up motions. The energy goes in that. So, I just ask the question. So, like this way, so awareness is empty of all of these qualities. And when we start to recognize that this is my very soul, then at times it can seem like a completely sober scene, sober recognition. And at times it can seem like so much joy, so much love, so much peace is coming as the byproduct of this recognition. Some have also said, although it is rare, some have also said that they had a moment of great clarity. And then some sadness came because the remnants of the attachment to the character is played out as some sadness. So some of you had this kind of experiences also. So my advice would be not to worry so much about the byproduct of what is coming as you inquire. Truth for truth's sake. Because why? It is the truth. You must not need a why for truth. Because it is the truth. Truth for truth's sake, irrespective of the byproducts. And I'm happy with the report that you enjoy this contemplation, which I remember very well also. It's so funny that usually if you speak to someone who's in the world, so to speak, and you say you spend a lot of time asking yourself, who am I? I say, but why? What will you get with that? What's the benefit of that? Why are you doing it? Like this? But imagine that for the day you woke up and you forgot your identity, the same people say, find out who you are. Can you find out? How can you live like this? You wake up and you're not able to say, my name is Mahesh. You go to the passport office and say, I don't know what my name is. You say, please get some help. Find out immediately, go to a doctor. You see. But when you talk about the self-inquiry, mostly people are like, but what's the point of that? Why you have to know what you will get? So the allegiance in the world, and that is your very design as consciousness, you have made it like this. But the allegiance of this play, this video game, is so much towards the identity. That, that if that is forgotten, that is bad news. But if you say, but I really don't know who I truly am, well, that's okay. What's the point of getting into that? You have to see that as we start to get an enjoyment in this contemplation, when it becomes primary for us, that before I can make any other conclusion about myself, let me at least find out what this self is. The motionless, conclusionless surrender, the recognition of the truth. Because in your motionlessness, your truth is apparent to you. You don't have the concepts to define what this truth is, but it is completely apparent. So ultimately this surrender, motionlessness, recognition through self-inquiry, all of them are the same thing. Step away from this paradigm of belief and step away from the stepping away. Like the master said, let the master set fire to your house of cards. And you represent your highest insight. Like I was saying the other day. The nature of the mind is to try and draw you into representing its biggest doubt. And it will always have some. But may you move from that into representing your highest insight instead. Sri Nesagara Maharaj said very beautifully, he said, how long will you play as Arjun? So this, many of you know about this beautiful Bhagavad Gita, the conversation between the Divine Lord Krishna and his disciple Prince Arjuna. But Maharaj said, don't be so attached to this Arjun position. Speak from your highest insight. And although he said, speak as Krishna, I know that inherent into any instruction like that there's also the possible misunderstanding that you can take on that as a position. So remember that to speak as Krishna means to not try to speak as Krishna. Speak as God, that which is beyond open empty space. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.